Okay, so this is the unit on matter and how it moves through the world. Okay, so the laws of matter state that matter cannot be
created or destroyed,
it can only be transformed, rearranged, you know. Alright. On Earth, matter is a what system?
Closed.
And in space, it's
Open.
Someone tell me what that is. Gabe. Gabe. Alright, can someone tell me why it's closed on Earth?
Because there are systems or cycles on Earth.
Thank you. Alright. Finish up then. Stop. Okay, next slide. Now, systems require some components to work. I'm not gonna quiz you guys on that because they're kind of weird. So, systems require an input from the environment, flow throughout, and an output to the environment. So, a cycle. You know. And systems are affected by what? What type of loops? There we go. And do you guys know the types of feedback loops?
There's negative feedback, positive feedback.
And
Negative.
now, as you said, there's positive and negative feedback loops. Positive feedback loops is when an action causes another action, which causes the first action to keep going. It's just an endless cycle, like in the vanishing Arctic ice. The temperature rises, which melts the ice. So the ice, which reflected the sun back in down here, is no longer there. So then the temperatures swallowed by the ocean, and the temperature continues to rise, melting more ice, less reflection, more temperature, and so on and so on. In the body, an example of negative feedback loop would be the body temperature. As your body temperature rises, you sweat to cool down, so the body temperature drops, and it ends there. It doesn't continue going. It's not endless. Okay, so matter in the ecosystem is made up of chomps. What's chomp stand for?
Carbon.
And organic compounds are typically made up of how many carbons? And methane is the exception to that. And now these are just the cycles of Chandrias. Which two elements cycle together? Hydrogen as the what cycle? There we go. So that's, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. We'll get to those in a minute. Alright, next. Alright. Okay, so before we go into the cycles, we'll talk about the quality of matter. And the quality of matter is basically the concentration and purity of the substance. So the more concentrated it is, the purer it is. So salt would be low or high quality.
High.
Salt water would be
Low.
Gasoline would be
High.
gasoline fumes.
Low.
There we go. It's just all about concentration. Gases are typically less quality. Alright, so the first cycle is the carbon cycle. What's it found in the atmosphere as?
CO2. Carbon dioxide.
And plants take in this carbon dioxide and convert it to glucose and oxygen. From there, other animals eat the plants, and then the food cycle begins, and the carbon gets passed on to animal until decomposers finally return it back to the ground, the lithosphere. In the hydrosphere, carbon reacts with calcium to make calcium carbonate, which forms shells, and that is the largest reserve of carbon on the Earth. You have to know that in the hydrosphere. Carbon is released back into the atmosphere as CO2 through burning fossil fuels, volcanic eruptions. Can you guys tell me some other ones? Burning organic matter. What is the other side of photosynthesis?
Cellular respiration.
That also releases carbon dioxide.
What is it supposed to say there? Calcium?
What?
Largest reserves of carbon.
In hydrosphere.
Oh.
Okay, so can someone tell me the basic formula of photosynthesis?
6H2O plus 6
Not both.
CO2
C6H12O6.
Yeah, just put what's in it. Like, we don't have to give you all the complex numbers.
Water plus carbon dioxide.
We got one important part.
Light.
There we go. And what else? It's not only glucose that's made. The oxygen, which is what we breathe, so it's kind of important. Alright, so water cycle, which is how hydrogen and oxygen cycle. Now, that water enters the atmosphere. There's two main ways.
evaporation.
Okay, and then there's another one which is from leaves to the atmosphere. What's that one?
Transpiration.
Okay, now how does it leave the atmosphere?
Condensation.
And what is condensation in technical terms? It's just gas being converted to liquid, and that's how it leaves. And then it rains down to Earth in precipitation, and from there, it can infiltrate the lithosphere through what two processes?
Percolation.
And infiltration. Percolation is more through rocks, and infiltration is just into the general ground. How does it re-enter bodies of water? Runoff, which is just, it's running across, and main reserve of water is obviously in the oceans.
And can you explain precipitation?
The water in the atmosphere cools, it heats up into clouds, and then it condenses into water and falls to Earth.
And how does it fall?
How does it fall? Rain, snow, sleet, hail. Okay, the nitrogen cycle. So N2 is in the atmosphere, and N2 is unusable for pretty much everything. So it needs to go a process in which N2 is converted into ammonia and ammonia. What is this process called? No.
Nitrification.
Nitrogen fixation is the process. And what two organisms are responsible for nitrogen fixation?
Nitrogen fixing bacteria.
Also known as cyanobacteria.
Where is
And
cyanobacteria found? And what's the other bacteria?
it starts with an RHZ. Rhizobium.
Where are they found? Root nodules for legume plants. So to clarify, nitrogen gas is unusable 78% of the atmosphere, and it's fixed by two bacteria in the water and in the soil, and they convert it to ammonia and ammonium ions.
Okay, so once it has been converted to the usable state of ammonia and ammonium, plants take it in and convert it into nitrate and nitrogen. What is this process called?
Nitrification.
That one's nitrification, good. Okay. Okay, so from nitrification, the nitrate and nitrite they can either be eaten by organisms and taken through the food chain, or given to bacteria. In the case that it goes through the food chain and, the animal eats and the animal dies and then decomposes, break it up, and the decompose will break it back into the usable states of ammonia and ammonia. What is this process called? Thank you.
Say it.
Ammonification. And in the case that it does go back to the bacteria, they will turn it back to the unusable state of N2. And what's that process called? Denitrification. Good. And the highest reserve of nitrogen is N2 in the atmosphere. Thank you.
How much percent?
70% of the atmosphere is N2. 78%. All right, the phosphorus cycle. the main reserve of phosphorus is in the rocks and in the ground as what? What is the main compound of phosphorus? It's phosphate. Thank you.
Good, PO4 negative, phosphorus.
And phosphate never enters which sphere?
Oh,
So since phosphorus is mainly found in rocks, as the rocks are weathered and broken down by the wind and sea, it gets dissolved and broken down into the water and soil. Plants take it in and convert it into their organic compounds, and the food chain begins until decomposers finish it off and return the phosphate back to the ground.
or water.
Or water. Okay, sulfur. Where is it mainly found? It's also mainly found in the rock and ground like sulfur. And it enters the atmosphere through the burning of fossil fuels and
And
burning of organic material.
organic matter burning. Good. Whenever you burn organic matter, you're gonna release CHON PS. The only thing that doesn't enter the atmosphere is P. So every one of our cycles will be released, okay? CHON.
So when it's released into the atmosphere, it reacts with, I want to say, hydrogen and other stuff to create acid rain, and that's how it comes back down to the litho and hydrosphere.
What else reacts with hydrogen to form acid rain? Nitrogen, good.
So that's how it returns back to the earth. And then from there, plants take it in and the food cycle begins until the decomposers return it back to the litho and hydrosphere. And